Hello everyone, my name is Janu. I'm 9 years old. Today we're going to study lesson 10, heat. In this lesson, you will discover where heat comes from and what heat can do. So first, here we have the sun. As you know, the more the sun gets more heat, it will be more shinier and shinier. Each time it gets more and more and more heat. So let's begin. Let's start with the vocabulary section. Here we have heat. Heat is a kind of energy that makes things hot. Of course, here this fire is a very good example for heat. When you put your hands closer to the fire, not too close, but on at least close enough, you will feel the heat. But don't put it closer and closer to the fire. Your hands may burn. So don't put it very close to the fire. Your hands may burn. We have learned many different kinds of energy, and heat is one type of energy. We have studied about electricity, motion, body motion, sound, and wind. Those are all types of energy, and heat is also one type of energy here. That makes things always hot. When you don't want to be cold, you don't want to be hot, you need heat to be warm, right? And that is heat. The next word, energy. Energy is power that makes things work. So power, energy makes your cell phone work, your computer work, or energy makes the cell phone or your computer works or causes change. So when you plant a tree, the tree needs energy. You plant it to put water and it needs sunlight. When the plant gets enough energy, it will grow and it will change into a different shape. And that is energy. We always need energy to work, to play, and to have fun, right? Energy. We need energy. We always need energy to make something change or to make something work. And that is energy. Warm. Warm means to make something hot. So when you don't want to eat cold pizza, when it is in the fridge, you want to eat hot pizza. Your mom or dad say that, let me warm up the pizza for you. Meaning they will heat up the pizza by warming it. Just like when it is winter, you don't want to be cold, you go into the blanket and you feel extremely warm. Of course, this girl doesn't want to be burned up, so she stay away from the fire, right? They don't want to be burned up by the fire, so they stay away from the fire. These two girls are afraid of fire, but they are too cold. They need warmth from the fire. rubbing his hands. Rub means to move two things together quickly. So, how long ago our ancestors used stone or wood to make fire. They rubbed two things together quickly and they made fire. But when in this modern and good time now, people can use hands. They can rub their hands to get heat in winter. And this boy doesn't want to be cold, so he is rubbing his hands and he can feel heat. Go try this yourself, but don't do it too much, just a little, or else your hands will hurt. And that is to rub. A stove. A stove is a piece of kitchen equipment. So this equipment, you can find it in the kitchen or else your house do not have it. That cooks food using heat. Now here is a very interesting part because the top part here is the stove and underneath is the oven. So there are two parts, but there are still one equipment using heat to cook food. When you don't want to eat cold pizza, you want to warm it up, you put it in the oven. Or if you don't want to eat cold soup, you will put it on the stove. They are still one equipment, but they are two parts separated from each other. But they are still in order to cook food using heat. Another type of heat resource is a lamp. A lamp is a device that uses electricity to produce light. So looks like this girl is using a lamp to finish her homework. Do you realize that when in winter you turn on the lamp and you put your hands closer to the light bulb, you will notice that there is light. There is not only light, there is heat too. Because when light is on, when there is when the light is producing too much light, it becomes hot. And don't touch it. It may burn your hands. Your hands may hurt. So don't touch the light bulb in the lamp. It's very dangerous. One of our main charts here is heat resources. Here we have the sun, fire, light, running hands. So let's start with the sun. The sun has so much heat that it can warm the earth. If the sun doesn't warm the earth will freeze to death. The sun is the only star in our solar system to warm the earth up. Many stars away are burning up, they give off light, but we can only see a little dot and we cannot feel the warmth of that star. The sun is the most important heat resource in our entire life. It warms the earth's land, water and air. Without the sun, our earth could be freeze to death. The next one is fire. So remember, long ago our ancestors used wood or stone to make fire. They rub two things together quickly. Now, how more and modern tools, people can use a stove to cause fire. Now, I really don't know if this is intentional or not intentional. Like style cook king in some movies, but this is also a picture caused by an accident too. Yes. Rubbing hands. So rubbing hands is also a heat resource. In this picture, the boy is rubbing his hands. Go try yourself. It is really warm. You can feel the heat in winter, in all four seasons. Next is the light. Here is the light bulb. Now, you can see some lines here. That is light. Looks like this light is so light, right? But don't touch this light bulb. Why? Because it is also producing heat too. As the more it gets more heat, the more it will become more hotter and hotter. So don't touch it. Your hands will burn right away. If you use the light bulb for some years, your hands will burn because if it is getting really hot, right? So do not touch the light bulb. Let's get to another chart. Heat changes things. First thing, heat makes ice melt. So in the last lesson, we've learned about the changes from solid to liquid to gas. And how when you buy an ice cream and you put it in the middle of your yard on a sunny day and it's really hot, the temperature is really high. And it will melt right away because if the temperature is too hot, the ice will melt because it is in because when it is too hot, the ice cannot suffer anymore. We freeze it in the fridge and then we put outside. The sun will change it into liquid and it will spread to your yard and it will spread a little in your yard. And that is heat makes ice melt to increase the temperature. Heat cooks food. Here looks like this guy is cooking hamburger. Are you hungry? Yes or no? This guy is cooking hamburger and what equipment he is using? Yes, he is using the stove to cook food. So when you don't want to eat raw pork, you will heat it up and it will be delicious. Raw pork is like cold pork. The first thing of the pork is that it is pink. But then if we heat it up both sides, it will turn into brown and it will be more and more delicious than we think. And that is heat cooks food. Heat makes metal melt. So here, heat makes ice melt equally to heat makes metal melt. Because when here I see this heat because lava is very shiny, the more it is getting more heat, the more it will be shinier. This is very shiny. If you pour on metal, it will melt out in about 5 minutes. Because also metal cannot suffer in lava for long. It is very hot. The temperature of lava is around 1000 in Celsius degree. So the metal cannot suffer anymore and it will melt in like 5 minutes. So that is heat makes metal melt and boiling to heat makes ice melt. Okay, let's get to the reading chart. Here, heat. Heat is a kind of energy. Here we can also use this word as a type of energy. Heat, light, sound, and electricity are forms of energy. Heat is only one type of energy. Energy is something that makes things work or causes changes. So energy makes your cell phone or your computer work, or when you plant a plant, you will, after a few days, it will sprout, and you will see that the color and the shape, it will change. Because the plant has enough energy to change its body shape and color. The sun, heat comes from many things. The sun warms the earth, land, water, and air. So the sun is always warming the earth. We get heat from burning things like wood or gas. Land produces light and it also produces heat. Land also produces heat too. When you don't touch the light wood, it is very hot. Remember again, it is very hot and do not touch it. Your hands will burn right away. Rubbing your hands together warms your hands. Heat is an important energy for us. Heat makes ice melt. So to make ice melt, heat can increase the temperature to make ice melt. Heat warms our body and our homes in winter. So the sun is always heating the earth. So the earth don't get low. So the earth doesn't get low temperature. That will freeze the earth. If the sun doesn't warm the earth, even in winter days or in summer days, the earth will turn down to -1 or 2 Celsius degree. We also use heat to cook. We can cook food on a stove, or here we can also use on a stove as in an oven. In an oven, those are both equipments use heat to cook food, but they have different they cook in different ways. The stove cook soup. You don't want to eat cold soup, so you put it on the stove. But if you don't want to eat cold pizza, you put it in the oven instead of the stove. The stove, if the pizza is on the stove, it will be too hot. Or if you want to make biscuit, you put it in the stove, or else if it is, in an oven, if you put it on the stove, it will burn right away. So they are two different parts and they also cook in different ways. But they both use heat to cook food. Let's get to some main idea and details. Here is the main idea and these are the details. Let's start. Heat is a kind of what? Remember, this word contains all electricity, wind, our body motion, and the sound. But if you don't have it, you can't walk, play, and have fun. What is it?
Energy.
You are right. It is energy. Let's start with the details. Here we have beep, warmth, the earth, land, and water and air. So what is it? It is the object in our solar system. Only object in our solar system. And it is the only star in our solar system that produces light, heat to our earth. What is it? It's
The sun.
yeah. But next is we get heat from beep things like wood or gas. So when you take out a paper, you take out a candle and you light the paper up. What will the paper do? The paper will burn. The paper will burn. And that is the only answer. We get heat from burning things like wood or gas. We burn wood we burn wood from the fireplace to get heat in the cold winter. What else? You only need to sleep in the blanket and then you wake up. It is so warm, right? Next, we have beep, produce light and also make heat. So what do we use to finish our homework at night? When you put your hands closer to it, it will be very, very warm. But don't touch it. It may burn your hands. So what is it? It uses electricity too. What is it?
I don't know.
It's lamps. They are lamps. Next is beep. Your hands together warms the hands. So long ago, people do this with stone and wood to make fire. What else? You just do as this in winter to make you feel warm. You can use wood or stone or your hands to make heat. And what is it? It's rubbing. Go try this yourself in winter. You can feel the heat right